The Look Alike Picot Edging looks just like a crocheted picot edge. In this video, I will demonstrate how to add it to both the cast-on and bind-off edges. This means you can use it to trim the bottom of a sweater, neckline, or even an armhole. First, I'm pulling out some needles, just a small swatch. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to begin our crochet cast-on. And I'm just making a little V, and I'm coming up across here, and I'm pulling down one loop from the feeder yarn. And I'm going to do that over 7 needles. Now you don't want to do this super tight. That's 5, 6, and 7. Okay? Then we're going to hold this loop on the latch tool and retract the first 3 needles from the right. So we just undid them, and it creates a chain. This is how you create the picot. Then you come underneath and hang this stitch into the 4th needle from the right and knit it off. Then we're going to transfer this same stitch onto our latch tool again. Bring these 4 needles back up to hold position. I'm bringing my latch tool up between the needles to the right of the empty needle on the right, and the yarn, the feeder yarn, between that empty needle and the working needle. Now we're going to latch over 7 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Retract the last 3. Take this loop, put it on this needle with the last stitch, put it in the hook, and knit it off. Then we can remove that stitch, bring these back up into work, come up on the right with the latch tool and on the left with the yarn of that first empty needle, and continue to do 7 more. Okay, drop these 3, transfer this one back to the last needle with a stitch on it. That's the 4th one. Then, now that should be in the latch. Now it didn't go in the latch, so it would have fallen off. Okay, I'm going to make sure it gets in that latch. There we go. Knit it off. And then one thing you can do to transfer it back easily, bring it all the way out to hold, take your hook, pull down a little bit with your left hand, and just slip your hook right in there. It's behind the latch, so it'll just pop off. Come up on that side and bring these up and do 7 more. Drop these 3 off. Oops, I keep catching that one. Put this stitch into the hook. Knit it through. Bring that needle out. Put your latch tool right in to that loop and pop it off. Bring your latch tool up on the other side of it. Bring these needles back into hold position, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to drop these 3 off. Bring this stitch and put it into the hook. Knit it off. Bring that out. Transfer it to your latch tool. And bring the yarn up on the left and your hook up on the right and latch. We just did 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put the last loop on the next needle. I'm going to take that one out of work. So I have 19 needles in work. So that gave me 5 little picots. Now I'm going to bring the yarn between the 2 end needles and off to the right and into my yarn feeder. The normal tension for this yarn is 9.1. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten the tension one full number, so it'll be 8.1. And then I'm going to come back over here. I've threaded up my machine, and we're going to knit across this row. Now this row may be a little tight because I latch tooled without my stopper plate. So there we go. That worked out very nicely. Now I'm going to use my stopper plate from my garter bar set, bring all these needles out to hold and drop that in. I can push this back a little bit, that's okay. But what I'm going to do is take my latch tool, unthread my carriage, pull down a little bit of the tension, and bring that yarn tail under the end needle. So now I'm going to latch across behind the knitting and put this loop on the last needle. Just like that. Push it all back, take the stopper off. Now my yarn is off to the right. I'm going to move it all the way off to the right, and my carriage is set to knit. I don't want to knit. I just want to put it on hold. So I put my carriage on hold so I can have a free pass going to the right. Now I'm threading up with my yarn and putting it back into knit. And once again, my tension is still at 8.1, and I'm going to knit across. There we go. So now we've just put a crochet cast on base. Now you can do multiples of these cast on rows. You can keep repeating, but you need to put one on it. So now I'm going to click my tension back up to 9.1, and I'm going to go and knit several rows. And I'm going to end on my left. So there we have our little picot edging, and doesn't that look cute? That's on the cast on row. But we're going to continue and do this all on this side also, but it's done a little bit differently. I'm going to hang some weight on here because I need it, and I'm going to take my stopper from my garter bar set and drop that down, push this back, and I'm going to remove my knitting from the machine. Now that the knitting is removed and set aside for the bind off, we need to work another segment of the picot edging. Here's a quick review. Move the carriage to the right. Cast on with the picot row again. Knit one row at main tension -1. Work the crochet cast on row behind the knitting and take a free pass. And then knit one more row with the main tension -1. I'll meet you then. I needed to go this far so that I could show you how to finish the bind off edge. So I'm going to just cut this yarn at this point. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these out to hold position. I'm going to push these back and put weights on them. Now I have 1/2 of my garter bar right here. All I'm going to do is take this and transfer them to my garter bar. So I'm just going to bring them forward and right onto the garter bar. Now they're a little tight because we're at a tight tension, but that's okay. It works really easily. It's not difficult to do this. Okay, now we've got them on our garter bar right next to our main knitting that we want to put it on. I'm going to turn my knitting so that the right side of the knitting is facing me. Okay? And I'm going to rehang the main swatch first. So I'm going to just put them in there. There they go, and I can drop my garter bar. Isn't that easy? Okay, so now that I have the main part facing me, the right side facing me, I am going to just rehang, which I have to turn the garter bar back, because I'm going to rehang the second set of edging so that the right side is facing the machine. So now I can just move these down and just push them back on. Now you do want to just push them into the hooks only. And I just missed that first one, but we can fix that pretty easily. Just bring this one up and get it into the hook. This is when it's a good idea to just slowly push this back all at the same time. And what's happening is the latches are going to close around the stitches. That's where I want to get first. Get all the latches around the stitches closed. And then I'm simply going to knit them off. Pull those stitches through the stitches that were already on the main project. There, that's it. Now we have the picot edge added to this section. Now we're going to finish it. So back with our latch tool, I'm going to bring all these out to hold. That long end that I left, which is about, well, it should only be about 3 times the width of the needles and work, but I just cut it a little longer. We're going to use that to bind off. This is called bind off around the gate peg. I'm going to put that yarn around the gate peg to the right, and I'm working from right to left. But you could work from left to right too. In that case, you would leave a yarn tail on that end. And transfer it, and I'm doing it around the gate peg and pulling it through. Then the next one. Now I'm going to do this relatively firmly, not tight, but firm. We're moving around just like that. I'm catching the hook and transferring that and pulling through 2 loops. Catch the feeder yarn, pull through 2. Okay, now I did have a lot more than I needed. That's why I'm going to trim it back. Now when you unfold it, you have just as nice an edge on the bind off edge as you do on the cast on edge. You can tell the bind off edge because it has a special extra ridge. But once it's blocked, it will lay flat. This same edge that we did on the bind off, you can do on the selvage edges too. This is what the picot edge looks like if you did not add that extra row of crochet cast on. That's the Look Alike Picot Edge. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please take a moment to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications of upcoming videos and events. Happy machine knitting!